So some people may be like, well, I do like production, but I want over 10 for type. That's not unreasonable. It'll be a short list that we get to look at. So this is kind of the power of CDN and how it can allow you to sort. And if you want to add another level to that, let's say you're having a hard time with, you want to see, let's say, a lower or higher daughter fertility on farm, we add that, it cuts the list in half again. So you can see when your criteria of things that might be difficult to get together, how quickly the list can get smaller. And this is where.
And if you also say sexed semen, that makes the list shorter again.
Yeah. So in this, I mean, some of this is a compliment to Carl. We got 4 progenesis in this list that are up here. But yeah, that's one of the powerful tools in CDN. On the farm side, I used to look up anytime something would happen to a cow, whether they were leaving the property, they had something come up, let's say they got mastitis, I would be checking up their CDN page and seeing if that was their issue. Because to me, I wanted to see if the genetics lined up with what I was seeing on farm. And it actually quite often was. It might be 4th lactation, the cow got mastitis, but maybe that was what they were low on, and that was the reason they ended up leaving the farm. And that's the cool thing is, if you have, let's say you have sand and you don't have an issue with mastitis, maybe it's not something you need to focus on the same, because you've created an environment where that's not a struggle and you can maybe look past that. But if daughter fertility is a struggle and you can focus on it and make it a little bit better, why not?
So last area of focus will be the area of inbreeding. So I don't know how many producers are concerned about inbreeding, but the CDN site is also a very good way to test out whether a bull is a good match for your herd based on how they mate. So who do we want to use as an example herd? Do you want to start with Erinsdale again? We can get a few more if somebody else wants to try to test.
It was,
So start with an individual.
oh, you wanted to do it?
Yeah. So go to animal query individual first. So if you start with female and enter your prefix, you'll get the top 400 animals with your prefix. So in this case, Erinsdale again, we have them by LPI, but you could do it by pro dollar by just clicking on which 400 you want. Now at the top bar, you can click on inbreeding calculator. So inbreeding calculator gives us, basically it takes that group of 400 animals and it turns it into your default list of animals that you're going to mate. So now let's pick a sire. Who do we want to test? You just had Milan at the top of the list. Is that an appropriate sire for Erinsdale?
That is one we're using.
So let's just test to see what the inbreeding levels look like. So I'm going to go to my Go app and get the registration number for Milan. Oh. Why can I not do that?
Still have the query.
I should have canceled that. All right.
Paul's just looking at the registration number. So
it is 32, it's a US reg number.
Yep.
3250.
Yep.
285
93 at the end.
893.
And then you just switch it to states.
So now it's taken all of the females and mated it to Milan, and you can see along, maybe point out the inbreeding column.
So here, Milan himself was 12.56. And then it shows all the females that he was being bred to. how the inbreeding would go. So if you want to buy a bull and you're not sure what the inbreeding might be, you can do a quick check and see if that bull could be used on your top end animals quite easily. And so in this case, a lot of them went down on the inbreeding side while bringing quite a level of, in this case, fat for Milan, legs, feet and legs, and production overall on the fat side, and then pretty good health traits. And so this looks like a bull that right away would be a really good match for this herd. You don't see almost anything that's 21%, which would be right away that you know there's a brother, so to speak, that's already on the ground.
So now, do you want to speak to the percent R versus percent inbreeding and what the difference is? Yes. Yeah.
That is correct technically. On the Milan, this one is less related to Milan. You'd have to look up this. Well, we can click on it. We'll see what this one. So this one was 12 and the cross goes down to 9.58. So technically, yes, that would be, we're not seeing that, but you can click on the individual, go inside. This one's at 11 and it went down to 10. This one was at 12. It went down to 9.59. So in this case, for his farm, it went down in a lot of these crosses. But if we used very similar mating to Sugar High with how well Sugar High has done at this farm, you'd see those inbreeding numbers shoot up quite quickly. And then you may know, okay, we can't use this bull as well as we'd like. So here, this is the inbreeding on Milan, which is pretty common, I would say, nowadays. It shows you the inbreeding on Monteverde, the sire, and then it shows the dams inbreeding and the maternal grandsires inbreeding. And then R value is a handy tool to know how related to the breed you are. So if you're somebody that cares about inbreeding, in that query refinement, you can put a lower R value to try to find bulls that are a little bit more outcross for you. So if that's something that is important to you, that's a really handy thing about the query refinement.
So the percent R though is to the Canadian population. And that's why I find this is a better way to do it, because this gives you an indication of which bulls are better suited for your herd. So it doesn't give you percent R in this case, but in this case, percent R would be just double inbreeding. So just double what the percent inbreeding, that would be the percent R for this bull to this herd.
And then also this could be downloaded onto
Yep.
Excel if that's something you like to view through.
So now just do one other thing, and that is go back to this and maybe select a group of bulls.
So on
So
this
now-
side,
go ahead.
EVV.
Yep.
EVV means basically proven in our system. It's a certain amount of daughters over 120 days in milk on the production side. MACE is your American numbers because they often get data back, I would say, a little bit quicker. And then PA is your young bulls that don't have phenotypic data yet. And then you can kind of pick which one. So if we want to do the proven bulls, if you want to do a mating more on the proven side or some matings, you can select if you want to do polled or not polled. And then if you like LPI or maybe you want to be by confirmation, you can pick any of them. So let's just do LPI, and then it does the top 40 bulls. You can adjust that too. So right here, it gives you a list of the top 40 proven bulls. And then if you click on one, so let's click on Alcove in this case.
So it's made it all your animals to alcove now.
And it'll show you kind of what they come out as on this side. So this, you could see about 68 fat and 11 for type was what this one was, but after it was mated to alcove, it got to 102 fat, 1700 milk, and 10 for confirmation. So you can quickly check if you wanted to see how this bull would mate to a lot of them and what that number would come out on the alcove side. This is another way of doing it.
Many people use this CDN tool to sort through bulls. How many people? Show of hands. It's a fair number.
there anything somebody's curious about what it can do that they, like maybe they haven't seen this and they're curious, something that they, at their farm are interested in? Especially in the individual traits you're
The
saying.
refinement tool is only on the major traits is what I think Mike's saying.
Mhm.
The point.
Yeah, and that, to plug, I guess, WestGen a little bit, we can help a little bit on that side, but it would generally be on the bulls that we have, with the CMEX Works. So when you have that, if you are talking to your WestGen rep, you can put in a parameter.
Maybe show how.
And that was one of the things with Aaronsdale that we talked about having the breed getting too straight in the leg. And so we've made a cutoff on here of having side view no straighter than 7S. So that allowed us to eliminate anybody that was going to bring that to the table, to try to have the herd a lot more uniform with how they're built. So not a great answer on the whole industry side, but something that if you are dealing with your WestGen rep, they can help on that side. And I think it's really good to use your third party, like a classifier's input. Right after they've seen a bunch of your cows, they've kind of seen it, probably a trend that's happening. Talk to your genetic advisor with that information, because if they're doing a good job, they should be listening and incorporating what you're saying to try to better your herd. And we have the tools to do it. I think more people, I would actually encourage more farmers too. I think sometimes farms have a pride to not maybe ask for help. But it's not that difficult for us to help on that side. So I really would encourage people to ask, and we can help.